So one group of animals or phylums that I've not talked about yet is our Echinoderms, which means spiny skin, and those are sea cucumbers, sea urchins, and sea stars. And unfortunately, they are not super common in our harbor at this time of the year. The water might be a little too cold, or they just have moved deeper into the water column or the depth of the water. So that's why we're not seeing any today. But I did want to stop and just kind of show you how this harbor is dealing with the tide currently going up. So let's see if we can listen for just a second. So that creaking noise that you are hearing is the ramp actually currently moving as it gets less steep as the tide comes up. So I've been talking about those mussels and maybe things that they have to worry about eating them, and here is one right in front of us, slowly moving our way. Our wonderful sea otter that loves a good mussel, and it does look like that is what this sea otter is currently eating. We have a mama and baby sea otter here in the Homer Harbor, and you can see that mom crunching up some delicious mussels as the baby just kind of hangs out and is protected from the cold water by the thickest fur of any animal in the world, 1,000,000 hairs per square inch. You can see mom kind of washing off that mussel. She doesn't want any of that muck. She's kind of rolling around and washing that mussel off. So I just missed an otter here. We're going to see if it will pop up somewhere close by. Oh, I think it's just there it goes. Got the mama and baby otter snacking on some delicious mussels. So here we are at another pole. We've got our wonderful mussels, but I want to talk about another animal that likes to live on these poles, which are hundreds of barnacles. And you can see these little dots are all barnacles. We've got some bigger ones here. And you might be able to tell that some of them are open, which means the barnacle's not alive anymore. But most of them are closed. And if we kind of go near them, sometimes you can tell that there is in fact an animal alive inside. So there's a hard outer shell, and then there's something inside that can kind of close up, and that shows us the adaptation that barnacles are able to protect themselves from predators, but also close up when the tide is out. Barnacles are in the phylum Arthropoda, which means they're related to crabs and shrimp. And you might think, well, how is something that looks like more like a mussel or a clam related to a crab or a shrimp? Well, inside that hard outer shell, there is in fact something that looks like a baby shrimp. And what they do is they actually attach their heads to the rock or pole or boat. And then it's their feathery foot that comes out and filter feeds or pulls in food from the water. And you should definitely look up some videos of these barnacles doing that online. One question that does come up quite often on our tours is, how can an animal live in this harbor with all of these boats around? Isn't the water so polluted? And yes, in a harbor there are things like maybe some gas or some oil being accidentally spilled, but if you think of our harbor like a giant toilet bowl of new water being flushed out, or that old water being flushed out and new water kind of being flushed back in every 6 hours or so with that tide, you can see that these animals are getting fresh water and fresh nutrients, whether that be plankton or whatever else, to be able to eat and to survive. So overall, not a bad place to live, the Homer Harbor. Well, thank you, everybody. We have reached the end of our harbor tour, but hopefully you've been able to kind of see how special this harbor is and the adaptations or changes that animals have had to make to be able to live in this marine environment, whether it be on a post such as this or on our beaches as well.